We've got Charlie Gasparino here, Connell McShane here, the former New York Republican Congresswoman Nan Hayworth. Do you think they're going to get a deal? What do you think?
They have every reason to get a deal politically, Neil. I don't think Republicans want to see the government shut down. They certainly don't want it, pinned on them. So I think
it would be pinned on them, even if it's not their fault.
It would be, Neil.
Yeah.
And they are not sufficiently confident of their political prospects this year to say, to hell with it, we'll have a government shutdown. So I think they'll cobble out a deal. You
know what the Democrats are saying, Connell, as you've reported, it's DACA or bust. Makes this part of the deal, or there is no deal. Yeah. Now, someone's going to blink. But I suspect Democrats are going to use that as a wedge.
Well, they think they have a lot of leverage, and they may. That's why the story with the president and his comments last week was such an important story. I mean, there are other reasons that it's an important story, and that might play itself out over...
Did the president say something that I missed?
Right. Well, I think it was when you were out sick.
Okay.
So, but it did, if anything, just from a practical...
By the way, Gaspo talks like that all the time.
Not about those countries, as far as I know. Not to defend you, Gasparino, for a change.
His colleagues.
Right. Exactly. That's exactly. That was going to be the next words. But that did...
instead of holes. That
right.
So there was a significant story there about leverage. I think Democrats think they have it largely because of that, and they may be right. They may be right.
You know, we could face another short-term, continuing resolution. The fourth one. Yeah. That's weird.
Yeah, you get that when you have, when you have competing interests within parties and obviously two parties with vastly different ideological agendas.
Very close numbers.
And very close numbers.
Exactly.
It's really interesting when you hear about all these Republicans retiring. The Republicans really do have an issue in the House. I mean, I talk to House members, it's not going to happen, it's not going to happen. But, we're not going to lose the House this year. But I don't know. I mean,
it's close.
And I think you have to look at what it means if the Republicans lose the House. It means that the fiscal agenda of President Trump becomes a lot more difficult, and it almost becomes.
Do you think that's actually going to happen? I don't see that happening.
The Republicans losing the House? Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it depends on who you talk to.
Here's why I get skeptical about it. Everyone says it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Neil, I agree. I mean, I think if if we had to bet the farm in it today, I'd say, yeah, they'll retain the House, even if narrowly. But
they're going to lose seats, but they're not going to lose 24.
You worry about people like Ileana Ros-Lehtinen leaving. Right. That's going to go to a Democrat probably. Darrell Issa is leaving his seat, although now he may run for the adjacent district, interestingly enough. But all these chairmen, what's happening is these chairmen are being term limited now. They're reaching the limits of their chairmanships. It's not so much fun when you're not a chairman anymore.
But they can't get party luminaries to run in their place.
Yeah, that's a problem. And if the Republicans do lose the House, remember what happens, sort of the fiscal agenda of President Trump. It shifts much less to taxes and deregulation and stuff like that, much more to infrastructure and spending of money, which gets back to your little bugaboo, which is will there ever be a cap on spending? Will we ever get this under control? Here's the one thing I will say. If you have Democrats in the House, probably not, because you're going to have Trump indulging.
A lot of it with Republicans.
Right, but Trump, remember, Trump is an odd guy when it comes to ideology. He brought forth...
He can shapeshift.
Yeah, he's a shapeshifter in the sense that sometimes he's a Dem, sometimes he's a Republican. He believes in spending. He's advocated almost no spending cuts or sort of containment of entitlements. So he's a big government Republican.
But what are the markets telling you with the futures here up the way they are?
Yeah.
And that could change by tomorrow, obviously. But they're not worried about.
Well, I think that kind of piggybacks on what Charlie's saying, is that until there's an incentive for you to tackle spending in some way, and that incentive, I think, logically would come from financial markets. At least that's one of the places it would come from. Then it's going to be tough politically to make that argument, because even if you're the Republicans now, most of their arguments are in favor of more spending on certain things. It might be different than what the Democrats are arguing for. It might be on the military. To some degree, it's on infrastructure. But unless interest rates start to tell us that there's an issue here, whether it's for the stock market rally or for the spending debate, I think there won't be an issue.
And stocks like inflation to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, people buy stocks in inflation.
Bill Miller was talking about, if we get over 3% of the 10-year with 255 now, this market's up another 30%.
Right. So although you start asking yourself how far above 3% do people say, hey, why should I risk my money in stocks, and why don't I just put it away in a bond?
Well,
that's where the markets start to equalize. But right now, I guess markets are looking at, okay, tax cuts, fiscal policy that's expansionary, all that is really good for stocks.
And to Connell's point, they're not looking or seem to care whether they ever get around to entitlement.
Well, I think in an election year, Neil, it's almost impossible politically to do that. It really is. All of this really depends.
It's impossible any year.
Well, I agree with you, but until we have an electorate, really, truly, what it comes down to, if we have an electorate that can understand more than, you know, the short-term perceived benefit of having money spent on them, so to speak.
I think that'll never happen.
Right,
I think
unless they call for fiscal discipline.
The one disciplinary aspect of this will be the markets.
Right.
If somehow
bond
market vigilantes rise up and say, you know, we're just going to
look at the debt.
We're going to sell. We're going to bail out of the U.S. currency. We're going to sell bonds. We demand a lot more for you to borrow.
We're not at
so maybe maybe we're not at the 2.5 on a 10-year, so maybe it's 3.5 or something. Maybe there's I'm not historically, but maybe there's a different level where the conversation changes. But again, that goes back to incentives. It doesn't change till we get to whatever that level is.
And I think we could have a teaching event if a state like Illinois that is deeply, deeply in debt starts defaulting and suffering the consequences, and people can see.
I don't even think that'll do it.
No, well, you know, but how else? You know, how do we make it tangible?
It's hard for
people?
states to default.
But you know what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying, but it would take a lot to galvanize
funding their
public opinion.
Obligations, and people can start seeing, well, geez, you know, that would really be bad. But you know, you have
all
to
I
have a
know is in the
moment.
latest quarter, the fiscal first quarter of this year, we took in a record amount of money and still had $225 billion in deficits. It's incredible.
Because a representative democracy like ours, and I know having been a representative, people like to have money spent on them. They like to feel that their representative or their senator is bringing home the bacon. And as long as they expect that, and as long as politicians respond to those pressures.
Well, even the immigration debate is that way. It's a trade-off for what? For more spending, for spending on border security, the border wall.
He would say, listen,
the budget director.
Nick's smart as all get out.
He's really smart. And I've heard him say this. He said, listen, let's get the economy moving 3.5%, you know, consecutively, regularly. And then let's look at entitlement reform, because once you get the economy running like that, and you get the tax receipts coming in, then you start dealing with that. Would be a good solution. Now, do they have the cojones to do that? Who knows? You know, doubtful.